What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Yee Yee Podcast, episode 49. This is like Inception right now, because if you're listening to this on YouTube, you're just going to see Parker on his phone and think he's being rude. But we're actually live right now on TikTok, which I guess is a new thing that we're doing nowadays.
Yep, here we are. We're on too many platforms right now, so I forget to talk. And so people listening to the podcast, their experience is just slowly going downhill over time as we just assume that everybody can see us because we're just getting cocky now. We're almost at 50 episodes. I mean, we might move to LA.
Yeah. Have y'all seen the TikTok that goes around? It's like, it's some sound that says, what is it? It was like, so does Hollywood just call me or do I call them? Or something like
yeah,
that.
I saw that.
Like when you have one video go viral.
We could just kind of answer TikTok questions as we go here, as we run out of conversations to talk
yes,
about. But I'm not going to lie, guys. These topics are not great so far.
And if you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, go follow us on TikTok, and maybe we'll answer your question next time.
Yeah, and maybe you'll like some of the videos that take us an hour and a half to make that get 2,000 views.
Yeah,
that we think are really good.
Be more appreciative of our work.
It's so easy too. We get like, it's the same thing with money though. Like, say you make $50,000 and then you get a raise and you make, this is a big raise, but then you make $100,000. Like, there's always that thing of keeping up, but that's sometimes how I feel like with our content. Like, I was saying this the other day about how our videos that we've been doing recently haven't been getting as many views as we thought. And the marketer in me gets frustrated about that sometimes. But then you go and look at some of our competitors that we crush, not being like cocky, but sometimes we do. And then you look at where we were a year ago and we're crushing that. So it's like we're growing, but sometimes it's tough to look. You're like, dang, that video only got 20,000 views or whatever.
And it's kind of funny, like in a world of viral videos, like it's almost like expected now that every video we put out, like we want it to be viral. But really, like it's, you know, it's kind of a rare thing still, but it doesn't seem like it because so many people are on the internet and so many people are like, it seems like an everyday person can get a viral video if they get lucky.
Some days I'm just like, we have Brian here all day. Like, what am I doing with my life? How many people would kill to have someone with the talent level of Brian there with him for just 2 hours? And sometimes it's just like you forget like the value that it has to like have this equipment and have Brian here. And then all of a sudden we remember and like we go on a spree for like a day of just like all this stuff. But then we have to edit it.
I think it's also easy to do that with Granger though, because there's so many companies that would kill to have someone like Granger with his reach and with him being on stage, 3 nights a week and in front of thousands of people and a YouTube series and all these different things. People would kill for that to be like the head of their brand. And then sometimes like he's here right now. And I actually made a list the other day of things that I was like, next time Granger's at the farm, don't just like BS with them and catch up because we haven't seen each other in a while. Like, yeah, you can do that, but here's some things that we need to get done because sometimes we just kind of take it for granted that we have a country music singer leading our brand.
For the first time in like 4 months, we like sat down and had like a brainstorm session on like content for Earl Dibbles Jr. We were like, okay, we need some promos for this Yee Yee beef jerky. And so we like wrote down all these ridiculous ideas and like finally got some ideas flowing. And then Granger came, or Earl came.
Whoa. Yikes.
Yeah. Two different people, obviously. And then we filmed for like, I think 30 minutes. And then like the one video that we filmed got like 2 million views. And then we just haven't done anything since. We're just like,
someone tweeted it.
What are we doing?
Someone tweeted at Granger the other day and said something like Earl sure hasn't said anything in a while. And I went and looked at Earl's social media. I was like, man, Earl has been working real hard. He has not had any time to post anything anywhere.
Me and Ben were talking about this earlier about social media, but it's kind of funny that when people will post about being busy, they usually aren't actually busy. And it's when people are actually out there working is when they're not posting. And so I think that's kind of Earl's case right now is he's just been so busy, he hasn't posted at all. It's
like the guy that, have y'all seen that bit where it's like the guy that is literally takes a selfie in the gym and like makes sure that he puts the timestamp on it, like 5:36 a.m. He's like already knocked out a full workout. What'd you do today? It's like, dude, chill out. Like I slept a decent amount, unlike you. And like you work at Chase Bank. Like, it's, chill out.
And he definitely took that picture right when he got to the gym
Exactly.
while it was early still.
Exactly. He made sure as soon as he got to the gym, he took it. He didn't take that at the end of his workout. He got to the gym right whenever he took that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like an old school thought process to think that like that busyness leads to importance and like effectiveness. I forgot to put the camera just on you.
Why are they looking at me? I'm not even talking.
It's kind of an old school idea to think that like to like equate busyness with importance, and like we kind of subconsciously do it to where it's just like when someone asks how you're doing, it's just like, you been busy? It's just like, yeah, I've been super busy. Where it's just like,
have you though?
Why do we say that though? Like, why do we feel like we have to be busy?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does, like, we equate that to importance. And the busier someone is, like, the more important they might seem. But I don't know.
Ben, you went skiing this weekend? Where'd you go skiing?
I went to Killington, Vermont. I don't know if anyone on TikTok or YouTube has ever been there, but it's one of my favorite places. Great conditions this weekend. Got some fresh snow. And, yeah, had a great old time with my buddy Michael.
Sorry, you went snowboarding.
Yeah, Ben's a snowboarder.
Yeah,
But he accepts the term skiing.
I will say, like, a lot of the times I usually say the term skiing because that encompasses everything. It's just...
Does
I
it?
don't know. It does.
Yeah, like a ski trip, you might have some people snowboarding.
No one says, "Oh, I'm going on a snowboarding trip this weekend."
I think
Like,
they say that.
I say ski trip.
Well, I think
personally.
they say that because syllables. Ski trip, snowboarding trip. It's 2 more syllables. It's
basically
double
the
the
same.
syllables.
Yeah, and when you're busy like we are,
Yeah, we're so busy.
we don't have time for those 2 syllables.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that was a warm up because everybody in this room, I feel like, by the way, okay, so it's Parker's bachelor trip this weekend. Woo! Woo! I feel like it's just a Yee Yee work trip and then some of Parker's other friends because it's like the whole gang.
That's kind of how our shoots go for launches. I feel like too.
Yeah.
It's like it's the Yee Yee crew, and then we usually like to like kind of bring on our friends and stuff like that to help us out, and it usually ends up like it's definitely busy and like it's always hard work doing those launches, and like I'm always exhausted. But we always have a lot of fun with them too.
Yeah. So we're going, comment below if you're listening on YouTube or on TikTok if you've ever skied in Park City. We're going to Park City. And apparently Park City Mountain is the biggest mountain in the country, which I had no idea.
Like in terms of number of runs or geographic
I think
size?
it's like square miles of like runs or square mileage or whatever. But
Acres.
acres, yeah. Miles. is
Skiable
like-
acres is like the stat.
I feel like that's also one of those things that they may just claim because, fun fact for you, for y'all at home, comment below if you know the largest, and I'll ask you guys, the largest university in the country
In terms of
size. So like square miles,
hmm.
acres, whatever you want to call it. What is the biggest university in the United States?
The Texas A&M University.
Okay, that's Brian's guess. It's wrong, but it's a guess.
Boise State?
Berry College is wrong. Boise State is wrong. Parker, do you have a guess for the largest college?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. In terms of
Size.
size, student body,
No.
or acres?
Acres.
Oh, it's A&M.
It's not. It's Air Force.
Not.
But they count their runways.
Boo.
You can't count the runways. Like that's not a university. Second though,
Show
is
me a
Texas
classroom
Tech.
on the. Show me a classroom on the runway.
I'm sure there are a few.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know Tech was that big.
Yeah, Tech is
That's where you
number
went to
2.
school, isn't it?
For a cup of coffee, I did go to Texas Tech. Yeah, I did not last long.
Ah,
I did graduate from somewhere else, but I did not
it happens.
did not last long
A
there.
cup of coffee.
I heard someone say that recently, and I've just been saying it. Cup of coffee. Sounds so cool. All right, we're gonna go to break. We'll be right back. Okay, we did actually get a good question. Well, I don't know if it's a good question, but
We're
it's
back.
a question. Yeah, we're back. By the way, we got a good question on TikTok just a minute ago. What's the best age? We're not gonna do a fantasy ranking of this, but like, what do y'all think the best age is? Brian, you go first.
Looking back or in the moment?
I don't know. Just what's the best age? Because
Like,
you can't be like,
From
dude.
your perspective now.
I would say like just that freedom at 16, when you get your driver's license for the first time. Like your biggest worry in life is if your teacher's gonna count your math homework late or not.
Well, mine was girls, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yours
girls
may have
too.
been different.
That's no worry. That's no problems though.
Oh, I like it. I like it. That was good.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go with 16.
16. Okay, what's your favorite age? Or what's the
My favorite age.
Sorry, what's the best age?
The best age, I don't know, kind of like where I'm at right now, 23. I think 23 is a great age because, like, I was going to say 21 because it's, like, another level of, like, just additional freedom. Like, you can go into bars now. You could go wherever you want. You're not going to be restricted by your age at all anymore, unless it's, like, rental cars or something like that. I don't know. But 23, you're, like, out of college. College always stressed me out, like, classes and everything like that. So I'm just out of that. I am living my best life. I don't know.
I think it's kind of weird. There's those ages.
It's a random number.
But it's a good. No, that's a good age.
There's those ages that are like levels. It's like 13. It's like you're a teenager finally. And then 16 you can drive. 18 you can vote and
Being
buy
16 is so awesome
dip.
when you can finally drive.
21 you can buy alcohol, and 25 you can rent a car.
Have you ever thought about how insane it is that 16-year-olds are able to drive by themselves? Like, I'm for less government, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I think back, I'm like, wow, I was an idiot at 16, and you're supposed to be. You're an idiot. But you're just allowed to drive in a vehicle by yourself and go 75 down the highway?
So growing up, my parents bought me a truck like 3 months before I turned 16, but I wasn't allowed to drive it until I got my driver's license. And so it was like great motivation.
Well, yeah, that's also the law.
Exactly. But, you know, every small town, everyone's parents let them drive.
I got this new truck, but here was the catch.
I had to have a
Parents wouldn't let me drive it till I was 16.
I had to have a driver's license.
So that was great motivation to get my driver's license on my birthday. Like, I got it right away. And my mom let me drive to school, and I ran a stop sign literally on my way to school.
A stop sign. Like it jumped out of nowhere.
5 minutes after getting my driver's license.
And she saw?
No, she didn't see. No one saw, luckily.
Oh. Well, now they have, I was too old for it, but now they have y'all heard of Life 360?
Yeah.
Tracking. Did y'all have Life 360? Did your parents have that on you?
No.
I do now.
Well, yeah, but now it's different. Like, so I actually keep up with my parents on Life 360 just because sometimes I lose my phone. But what they it started as a tracking app, which now iPhone has that and everything, but it was a tracking app. But then what they did whenever my little brother was like a senior in high school, they added all these new features, and one of them was it could see how fast you were going.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going like 85 and a 70, my dad would be able to look that up on my brother's history and be like, you were speeding, which is just mind-blowing. And, like, that's part of, I mean, I guess you shouldn't speed, especially at 16, but it's just crazy how, like, our parents never had to deal with any of that.
So I dated a girl, and her parents had Life 360 on her phone. And so whenever she was riding with me, I always had to, like, go slow because her parents could see when she was speeding.
Congrats on the girlfriend. By
Thanks,
the way.
Congrats on the girlfriend. Well, you don't have one anymore,
No,
so.
no.
Boo.
This is past life.
Oh, sorry, I was in the middle of water. Are there any good comments now?
Jake Headley
Jake.
wants to know if you still love him.
Yes.
Anfinity says my grandma has a crush on you.
What
Way to
does
go,
your grandma
Ann.
look like? And who? Me or Parker? Probably Parker.
Lots of Where's Granger questions. Guess we're not good enough for you people. Granger is in the other room talking to Tyler about his future projects. Speaking of, update on his movie. I don't have one really.
It's done filming.
But it's done filming. Yeah, that's the update, I guess.
So now they edit it, and that's a lot. And
When is it
then,
supposed to come out?
early fall, I think.
Excited for that. Real quick, we were talking about it earlier a little bit, but wait. First of all, before I get on this next story, why do you have a Harvard Law School sweater on?
A lot of people don't know that I went to Harvard.
Yeah.
For
But
a
how old are
small-
you?
I'm actually 24. For a small amount of time.
Cup of coffee.
It really wasn't my thing though. Really a lot of tourists and stuff.
I mean, did you go on a camp? Like, did you go there?
it was like
Did you
2
walk
weeks.
on-
It was like 2 weeks ago. I went with some friends. We did like a tour and got this at the bookshop.
How much did you pay for that?
So you were not enrolled at Harvard.
I was not enrolled.
But you were at Harvard.
I went to Harvard.
Yeah,
yes.
you went to Harvard.
Yes, it's the
Nice.
proper way.
I knew you were gonna.
I paid too much money. For
Yeah, I was about to say, did you see that? And you're like, that's gonna be a hilarious joke.
I paid $49 for this.
For that sweater?
For this.
Is that a Gildan sweater?
It is Champion.
Brian and I actually had a conversation about the other day. He was like, I wonder how much how much do you think this blank costs?
Because I bought 2 sweaters on this trip, and they're
Like
both
$12.
Champion sweaters, and I paid $25 for one and $49 for the other.
Oh,
but
okay.
That
What
just
I-
comes with the brand of the school, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. What I was actually going to talk about is, so we right now are, and our YouTube listeners will like this, we are working on the logistics of possibly, hopefully, doing a podcast, our first ever live podcast. This doesn't count. Sorry, guys, but this doesn't count. So Granger is playing Billy Bob's Fort Worth on March 25th. That's a Friday. Billy Bob's is always an incredible show. And we always pack it out, or Granger always packs it out. I act like I have anything to do with this. But we were talking about possibly doing a live podcast like that evening before the show. Granger would be a part of it. Obviously, the Smith brothers would all be a part of it. But, yeah, I don't know. Would y'all go to something like that? I feel like that's...
I would go.
Well, yeah, you
I'd
have to.
have to.
You will need to be there. But I feel like I see... Very first time at South by it was a long time ago. 4 or 5 years ago, but I saw a podcast that I listened to live, and it was so awesome. And I feel like that's always been something that I've wanted to do with this.
Free of charge.
Yeah, it'll be free, but you'll have to. It'll probably be at Billy Bob's in one of their other rooms, so you'll have to have tickets to the show to get in.
But then you get to hang out with us.
Maybe. Brian, you get to hang out with Brian.
Yep. We're gonna do a meet and greet with me.
I have a fresh TikTok question. Were you done with that thought?
Yeah. I mean, just comment below if you. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool. Comment below, because that would be a cool city to do that for the first time.
Last thing. We've never done anything live events besides Granger's shows, so it's just a little scary. Like, what if we did it and 10 people show up? Like, that would be embarrassing.
I think that's just the expectation, and it would just be cool to just have 10 people hanging out in there while we're
True.
on the podcast.
I guess this is what every single music artist has ever had to deal with. Like, Granger had days where there were 5 people at a show.
Brian is on TikTok.
All right, what was the question?
JB Zella said, do you wash your feet in the shower, or does the runoff do it?
Ooh, okay. I love this conversation. You go first. Tell me, because most guys wash their bodies in the shower the same way, but go ahead.
I'm definitely a runoff guy. I didn't even know people wash their feet in the shower.
Really?
When's the last time you scrubbed your feet?
Well, I guess that does count. So maybe I am a feet scrubber.
No, don't lie now. When's
I'm
the last
not
time you
lying.
scrubbed your feet?
I don't know.
That means a long time. What about you, Ben?
It's not an everyday thing for sure, but anytime I get like a really good workout in, and like, you know how like when your socks get sweaty, that's the grossest thing to
Very
me.
gross.
So it's whenever I do strenuous activity.
What
I
about you,
would
Part?
say.
Well, so for those just joining us, the question was, do you wash your feet in the shower, or does the runoff just sanitize them? Makes me think of a quote from Hayden's favorite show of all time, Friends, where Joey and Chandler are talking about the bar of soap in the shower, and Chandler's like, you can't use my bar of soap, and Joey's like, it's self-sanitizing. Yep. What are you talking about? Like, you can share soap. And Chandler's like, okay, well, the next time you think about the last thing that I wash and then the first thing that you wash. And then Joey just like freaks out. So all that to say, yes, I wash my feet with soap.
Yeah, but you're like one of the cleanest dudes I've ever met. I think that there's hot spots for guys. Under the armpits,
Definitely.
the lower carriage. And like a lot of times, I think for me it's like a week. Is bi-weekly every other week, or does it mean twice a week?
Every
I think
other
Bi-weekly is every other week.
Bi-weekly.
Okay, I
is-
do not
yeah.
Twice
wash
a
my
week means twice a
Semi.
week.
twice a week.
It
Yeah.
would be semi-weekly.
Okay, whatever.
Every half a
Yeah,
week.
semi-weekly. Yeah, so twice a week usually I'll do my feet. But yeah, you got to get those hot spots as a guy. But then, like thigh down, it kind of just does its own thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that the run
Besides feet.
Yeah, like
Besides
I don't
feet.
like scrub my calves or like my
Yeah.
forearms. You just get the pits, the groin, the feet, and then
pits, groin, feet.
I actually don't have a face wash, and a lot of people think I'm crazy for that. Usually, I just like I have like a sensitive skin bar of soap that I use, and then sometimes if I don't feel like taking a full shower, but I'll know that my feet smell, then I'll just wash my feet. So I'll do the exact opposite, where I just wash my feet.
That's the Jesus bath.
And nothing else. Yes, I'm like, this is biblical.
Yeah,
That's why they wash their
biblical.
feet, because they
Yep.
probably smell worse than anything else, and then they're good.
Dude, can you imagine? I was watching. I was thinking about this. 1883, which is the spinoff of Yellowstone. All I could think about when watching that show is how gross all these people have to smell. Like they didn't take baths, and if they did, it was whenever they crossed a river. Like they're on the Oregon Trail. At one point, they were on the Oregon Trail for like a month and a half with no baths, and they all look so gross. And it was in the middle of the summer in like Texas.
It's all about perspective.
Like you could
And
smell those.
For
people.
most of human history, like girls just had hair on their legs, which is just and like hairy armpits.
Yeah,
which
no
is
one
just
shaved.
like interesting to think about.
I wonder if back in the day, like whenever everyone had beards, if you would get made fun of if you couldn't grow a beard. Because now you can just say, "Oh, I shave. I never," But like back then,
Probably.
I don't think they even really thought about it.
I bet they made fun of some people with patchy beards.
Maybe.
I know in biblical times it was like seen as like you were ashamed if like one of the punishments that they gave to like a certain group of guys was they cut their beards, and that was like super shameful, and they had to like literally go into hiding for 3 months until they grew back.
Wow, that makes sense though.
Because you just look like a boy.
Yeah, yeah. We got any more good questions on there? That was actually a really good question.
Yeah, no, JB just randomly came out with a good question.
Whoever asked that knows our podcast because we never really talk of anything of much substance.
Hope y'all can head up to Vancouver, Canada sometime. I don't think anybody's going to be coming to Canada anytime soon. I hate to break it to you.
Thanks, Trudeau.
Do y'all ride dirt bikes?
Oh,
Funny story about that.
Parker.
I saw Parker ride a dirt bike for the first time.
I ride dirt bikes.
I saw Parker faceplant riding a mini dirt bike.
Can we insert that
Yeah.
footage, Spencer's beautiful footage,
Yeah.
in 8K, 120 frames of Parker?
Crashing.
Do you have that footage?
Yep, I just put it up.
Oh, wow.
The viewers just watched it.
Oh, wow, they just watched it.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're laughing right now.
Yeah, nothing like just a bunch of guys hanging out and like one of them or multiple people are like filmmakers with very nice cameras and like encouraging you to do stuff. And so they had these miniature dirt bikes, which is the only kind of dirt bike I would get on because it's a little bit less intimidating.
People made fun of
Pit
the
bikes
mini
is
ones.
kind of what they
Pit bikes. Yeah.
is like the good term for it.
For someone who like is uncomfortable on bikes, it's like it just seems less intimidating, and so you'd think that you could get less hurt on it. But I like skinned my knee up so bad on it. But
I did have a couple dirt bikes growing up, and I wanted to get into the sport of racing. And I did a couple races, and I realized how expensive that sport is. You almost have to be born into it or have like some crazy sponsors to ever get any good because the equipment for it is so expensive.
I don't think you realized it. I think your parents realized it
That is true.
because you were just a little squirt who wanted to be on a dirt bike, but then your parents were like, "That is going to cost."
Yes.
next question, Caitlin asks, "How do y'all like your steaks?"
Straight from the
Medium-
cow. Rare.
Medium rare.
I'm making steak tonight, by the way.
How do you do? How do you do your steak?
Medium rare, but I will accept rare. Not more than medium rare though.
One time, whenever I was at Texas Tech, there was a guy that was in town that was a buddy, and his grandparents were like a big deal or something at the Lubbock Country Club, and so we went, and a guy got kicked out for asking for a well-done steak. I don't know why he asked for it, but he was in our group. And by the way, we were like 18-year-olds at a really nice country club. So stupid. But yeah, he got kicked out. Like, it was disrespectful, which it's Lubbock, Texas. Like, chill out. We're not in New York City at some fine dining experience. But yeah, he got kicked out for asking for a well-done steak. The chef did not like that.
One of the wildest things I think I've ever heard Granger say was that he'll go to like I think it has to be a nice steak restaurant, but he'll go and they'll say, "Oh, how you want it cooked?" And he'll say, "Chef's choice."
That's what I do.
Really?
Yes. You ask, the chef knows more about the menu and about the food than anyone. That's why
true.
you always get what the chef says. Like every time I go out to eat, I don't care if it's on the border or the nicest place in the world. You ask, what do you suggest today? Because all those servers, especially at a place of any worth, they tried it all. They have to try it all before they're going around a table.
Did Bourdain say that in one of his books? Did he give any
Maybe.
tips on that? I remember when you told me about how when you go to a restaurant, like things that restaurant owners think about or like are very aware of is like when the food is coming in. And I remember you said that Bourdain was saying that like there's certain days of the week that are the food is definitely going to be older at a restaurant versus other days.
Yeah, like Mondays, do not get seafood on Mondays. Worst day to get seafood.
Unless you're at Long John Silver's.
Just don't. Well, because a lot of places now there's obviously exceptions. Like if you're somewhere on the coast, like a lot of these places are getting their fish fresh that day. But usually the delivery is made Friday afternoon for the Friday night, Saturday night stuff. So think about fish that's been sitting there all of Friday, all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and then Monday it pops up as a special. Get out of here. I'm not ever trying that. I don't care if it's cheapest thing on the menu. I will never try that.
Hi, Meg Stallion. Yeah, recently I've gotten medium rare, and both times they've brought it to me rare, and I was just like, I think I'm gonna lose some of my man card, but I think I'm gonna start getting steaks medium because I would rather it be medium than them mess up and it be rare.
I don't think it's a man card thing. I think it's just like if I was a chef and you asked for well done steak, I don't care. Like you're the one paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't care, but
Doesn't affect my paycheck.
yeah, exactly. You're still paying for it. Have y'all ever heard the thing with the fingers?
No.
So everyone listening right now, take your hand, take your thumb,
I have heard this.
put your pointer, it's going to be the tip. So put the tip of your thumb to the tip of your pointer finger. Feel this part right here on the bottom of your thumb. That
What
is
part
rare.
is that for people listening?
I don't know what this is called.
Just the little meat below your thumb.
Yeah, so this is rare. Now do pointer and middle finger. This is medium rare. This, if you do 3 fingers, is medium. And then if you do all 4 and do it like this and fill this spot, that's well done. So that's what your steak should feel like if you press that.
Wow, that it all feels the same.
It's really interesting. Well, you've got deformed hands.
That's not true.
No, that's what everybody always says about your hands. I
No,
say they're
ask my
deformed.
mom.
What's y'all's favorite food?
A well done steak.
Chicken nuggies?
Some Raising Cane's, probably.
Dude, can't go wrong.
Can't go
It's
wrong.
my favorite fast food in the world.
Yep.
Ben?
Steak.
Steak. I do
Every
love
day.
steak.
Nice ribeye.
What about like a cuisine, like a genre,
American?
like burgers and stuff?
And steak.
I guess, yeah.
Raising Cane's.
So southern fried chicken, that'd be southern.
There you go.
We were talking about this the other day. It's like a really close race for me with Mexican and Italian food. I think I'd have to go Italian, but man,
It's a
I
good
love
cuisine.
Mexican. I just
This is
love
gonna be a
Mexican.
hot take, but Italian I think is my least favorite of all cuisines.
Why?
It's just I don't know. I don't love pasta that much.
Well, then it's just a
And-
preference thing.
When
I
went
thought
to-
you were gonna say like you think that you had a hot take on Italian food. Like I think it's.
Well, my hot take is that it's not that good.
I think a lot of people don't like.
When I went to
Italian
Like I
Harvard
think it's just kind
a
of
few
like
weeks ago, we ate at a few nice Italian places
in
in the Boston area.
the North End.
Yes. Is there a lot of? Is it just the north end of Boston that's like Italian?
That's what's known for
Themed.
being Italian. But I don't think it's necessarily like the only place you could find an Italian restaurant.
Got it.
What is your favorite type of food?
Good food. I love just like I've just grown to appreciate really good restaurants as I've gotten older. Of just like going to a nice place, and honestly, like I love if it's an amazing steak, I love an amazing steak. If it's amazing pasta, then I love amazing pasta too. I love a really good fish.
Dude, I have to give a quick shout out. We went to a random place yesterday for lunch, downtown Austin. We were down there. My girlfriend wanted to go see the Capitol because she's from California, and I always brag about Texas and everything. So we went to the Capitol, and then afterwards, I really just kind of wanted to go home, but she was starving, so obviously we went out to eat. And we just stopped in this random place, and it's called Neighborhood Sushi. It's on South Congress. It's one of probably the best sushi I've ever had. And I've had a lot of good sushi, like on coasts, like expensive stuff. And this wasn't cheap, but it also wasn't like crazy outlandish. They had a crab roll there, or a hand, you know, whenever they do hand rolls, it was crab. Oh my gosh. It was the best. Everything, it was probably the best sushi I've ever had. And it was right in the middle of Austin. So if you're in Austin and you're listening to this, Neighborhood Sushi, got to try that out.
I got a good question.
Okay, this is the last question before we go to break.
When y'all are on tour and get to your city, do you just hang on the bus or find somewhere to eat? Mad Maxon 9 asked that.
Well, I think it's important to point out, too, that, and he may know this, but we don't tour. This group right here, we are on the Yee Yee side, and then there's the Granger touring side. So it's two, I know it's confusing, but they're two different entities. So we actually have the best job, I would say, whenever we go out on the road, because like all the other guys have, you know, places to be, stuff to do, whether it's sound check or loading in, loading out, like meeting with the venue, security meetings, the actual show itself, whatever. We just kind of like get to be along for the ride, which is why I love going out on the road here and there. It depends, I think, on the city.
That's true. If we're in a city where we have like friends or something, we might go out and do whatever, but some days we just sit on the bus and eat and sleep.
There was we played a town in California, which makes a lot of sense. No one wanted to get off the bus because there were just homeless people everywhere. And it wasn't LA, and it wasn't San Francisco like everybody's going to say. It was a smaller town, and there were so many homeless people, like right outside of the...
We had one chase us.
One chased our Uber. It was insane. No, wait, we actually had a rental.
It was in our car.
Yeah, they were chasing Granger. I think we just were looking at them as we... It was a couple, a homeless couple in a fight. And we were just looking and like not slowing down or anything, just watching. They were fighting right there for everybody to see. And the guy turned and looked at us and started sprinting. We turned the corner, thought we lost him, and then we come up on another corner, and he's still running after us. I was like, we got to get out of here. So I think it depends. What would you say?
What was the question?
Do you like to explore? Yeah, Parker's going to just be checked out this entire time. Do you like to explore? You don't really like to explore. You'd rather just kind of do your thing, your routine, right?
I'm usually actually one of the few people that, like, if we're in the mountains or something, then, like, and I also don't have anything to do. I'm on tour.
Right,
like,
right.
Other people, like, actually have jobs, and they, like, need to go,
exactly.
like, set up the stage and, like, their instruments for, like, the show they have to play, whereas, like, we just, like, jack around and, like, just, like, film TikToks all day. So usually if we're, like, somewhere with like mountains or something, then Granger would be like, does someone want to go like I'm into the mountains, like I found a guy who's gonna like go guide us or something. And so it's a lot of fun like up in areas like that. But if you're in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, like then like there's not gonna be much to do.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
So.
We should all go out on the road again, just for fun.
On the road again. All right, we're gonna go to break. We'll be right back with the fantasy rankings.
Let's pick a fan of the week.
Fan of the week.
Real quick. And
this is really behind the scenes, I feel like, on our normal podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we're really showing, like, in the breaks,
exactly what
like,
we
our
do.
process.
this is literally what we do. We pick a fan of the week while we're in break.
So, when we're looking for a fan of a week, what do you usually do, Brian?
I go to the most recent episode.
I do the same thing.
Give it a few scrolls, and then I find someone that said something nice that we haven't picked yet.
And actually, we're not doing fan of the week anymore.
We're doing the listener of the
Yeah,
week.
Listener of the week.
Okay. So let's give fan of the week this week, episode 49, to Mr. or Mrs.
Oh gosh. Did you just assume?
No, I haven't picked one yet.
Oh, okay.
Mrs. Nicole McClure.
Woo!
There you go, Nicole.
Let's go, Nicole. Someone in the comments the other day was like, the listener of the week should get a mystery box. I was like, maybe. But then
That's kind of taking it a little far.
I know after a month we're gonna like
everyone's gonna have one. All our
well, we're
listeners.
just gonna forget to send them, and then we're just
Yeah.
gonna be those guys that promise someone something that we.
And Ben is the one who actually has
Yeah,
to like
exactly.
sit back and like
Yeah.
actually send that.
And I will probably forget.
Oh man, yeah, we got enough on our plate. But thank you guys for listening. It does help whenever you comment and like, and obviously make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. We actually we're going to start doing a lot more original content, whether it's vlogs or obviously we've got this podcast going. So we've got a bunch of different things planned. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss a video and you're the first one to see them all.
Speaking of a lot on our plate, what is on our plate?
Steak.
Nice.
Well done, steak. Way to loop it back around like a comedian. Well, we were just talking about Yee Yee Day, and all of us are pretty heavily involved. So
How would you explain Yee Yee
Yeah.
Day to the
really
new fan?
simply, if you're not aware or if you're like a new customer or subscriber or whatever, Yee
Or
Yee Day
friend.
or friend,
These are our friends.
sure, yeah. So Yee Yee Day was incorporated 2019 to celebrate the official holiday. We kind of say it's a holiday, but it's whenever Yee Yee apparel was started. So this will be our third Yee Yee Day now, and so it's basically there's two facets of it. We sell a bunch of new gear and some new different products and stuff, which we will do. We always do. So there will be some new stuff. So be on the lookout for that. And then at the farm, we have like a huge party. And we invite like a bunch of different friends and content creators. And honestly, it's just like a huge country party, and we get tons of amazing content from it. We're not releasing the date just yet, but it's going to be in April. So just be on the lookout for that. We were talking, it's going to be really exciting because we're going to try to get as many we're going to have this set up for the podcast, and then we're going to try to get as many different people in for interviews, even if they're just like 15 minutes each. So we can knock out a bunch of different podcast interviews for the time being, because we have a lot of really cool, interesting people that will be at Yee Yee Day this year.
Drop the date. We'll beep it out.
Yee Yee Day is April 29th.
April
So-
29th.
April 29th.
That just adds more work for you because, we're on TikTok Live.
forgot.
We are
I'm
such
sorry.
idiots.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Ah,
I wasn't gonna say anything.
the group intelligence in this room is not very high.
All right, well, we told a few people.
Okay, whatever. It's
Sorry, it's
whatever.
just 42 people.
we don't even have to bleep it out. Tyler's just gonna yell at me, but it is what it is. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. It'll be a really, really cool day, and we've got some different. I can't believe we just did that.
It's cool. We'll just bleep that. We'll edit that out. Don't worry. No one will know.
That is the most behind the scenes like screw up of all time. The one time we try to go live.
Good
on
thing
TikTok.
it wasn't something important.
Oh man.
That important.
Yeah, it's really not that important.
Yeah.
But we were gonna wait on the date, but
It's
yeah,
all right.
It's April 29th. Okay, fantasy rankings. So
It is a dangerous game when I'm just live on social media and
I know.
we're just talking.
who knows what will be said. So fantasy rankings. If it's your first time listening, I'll explain the rules real quickly. There's always a topic. This week's fantasy rankings is worst people to travel with.
Yeah.
So we all go around. So
Parker, why don't you start us off?
No, Brian, let's rock,
well,
paper,
hold
scissors.
on.
so we can
You gotta let me explain. Each person goes around. As soon as one person picks it, it's off the board. Each person gets 3. So, Parker, yeah, you can go first, but then we're going this way. I never get to go first, and I'm very butthurt about it.
All right, I'm going to say worst people to travel with is the person who is just living in constant regret and thinking about what you should have done. Like when you go to a restaurant, he's like, we should have gone to this other place. Or you get an Uber and he's like, we should have gotten XL. Or you go to a bar and he's like, we should have gone to this other place. It would have been more fun. I don't know if that's like just a negative person in general.
No, it's a
But
special type. It's not really negative.
Maybe it's not negative. It's more of just like a FOMO.
Yeah. Well, and you say that because Parker and I both have a friend that is the definition of we should have done this. I love him, but he's always just thinking we should have done something else.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you just want to be with
Should've
people
done
who
it.
are just like, the fun is where we are. Like, let's just do it. There's no point into like regretting.
Yeah. Okay. My first pick
Ben, what
for
you got?
No, stop. That was funny for one episode.
Brian is progressive.
But we
We're getting
always
more
go
and
this
more
way,
cocky.
Yeah, but I have never once on this show gone first. If we were doing this real, we should do a snake draft. So you go around and then back. Then it's fair. But we're not going to do that because it's too confusing.
All right.
We're also not that smart.
We will
as
let you
can
go
see.
second.
Okay. My first pick for the worst person to travel with is the guy that has to talk to his girlfriend or wife every single night on FaceTime for like 2 hours. I am all for keeping up with the family back home, talking, a few texts here and there. But there's that one guy on every trip. There will be one on the bachelor trip too, that for like 2.5 hours just pieces out. And it's always right whenever something is happening and he's just gone FaceTiming. And they're not even talking about anything. Like,
Are you frustrated with him or the situation or with the spouse?
no, it's not a spouse thing. It's a him thing. It's like, dude.
Because he let it get to that point.
Yeah, it's like, come on, just like it's 3 days. And I know a lot of relationships aren't like this, but anytime I go somewhere, it's like we're texting here and there, but like she understands 2 minutes.
No, I said see ya.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying 2 minutes.
No.
No, she just understands that I'm having a good time. She trusts me. She lets me go and do my thing. And yeah, like we'll text and I'll call if, like something happens, and maybe I'll try to call like once every couple days. But I mean, dang, like there is always someone that for 2.5 hours is just chatting.
All right. I'll go next. Mine,
Yeah.
I'm going to call Mr. Local Cuisine. The guy that only wants to eat at places that we have back home. So like fast food places, Subway or just something random like that. It's like we're in this cool place, wherever it is. Let's try some new food.
That's actually
And I hope my friends
amazing.
don't watch that because I'm sometimes that person. All right,
I
what you got, Ben?
I think that all of these things, like one of these that I'm gonna say, like we've all probably been that at some point, like
Yeah.
a little bit, and it's okay to be it sometimes, but just not all the time.
True.
That's a great pick though. What you got, Ben?
All right, my first pick for what's the full thing called again?
Worst people to travel with.
Worst people to travel with. I'm gonna go with the person that needs like his handheld, not literally,
Yeah.
but like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like you'll be like ready to drop off your baggage, and he won't have his ID ready, and like you need to like kind of rally him whenever, like he's not going to plan anything or contribute anything. It's just that you need to get him going, and he is like relying on you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you can't enjoy yourself because you're like, ugh, I got to get this guy ready
Is
to
this
go
just
out
for the
dinner.
travel portion of it, or is it like once you
Everything.
get there,
It could be anything.
like he
It
doesn't
could
want to
be-
go out or do anything, like
No. It's
inexperience.
Yeah.
inexperienced?
May
Okay.
Maybe that's it. Like that's no one's fault though. It's
We've all
more
been
so
there.
just absent-mindedness in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. All right, Park, what you got?
I'm gonna say the person who is just like overly concerned with like finances.
Mhm.
Like I understand being frugal, and like definitely want to be understanding of that. But then at the same time, it's like when it's just like it's like a $12 lunch, and they're like overly. It's like or like when you're like, I'll just get this round and you just get the next round of drinks, and it's like we don't need to like tally it up
Yeah.
and like Venmo $7.24 every single
Mhm.
time. It's like just get the next round of drinks, and like you can get the next one, then we'll just switch off. Like it's not that big a deal.
That's also one of the reasons why, like, you can have best friends. It's what people always say about roommates. You can have best friends and you can have roommates. They're not always the same person. You can
Mhm.
have great friends and you can have travel buddies. They're not always the same person. Like,
Yeah.
you can have different. One person wants to eat at a nice place. One person just wants to grab and go. Like there's different types of people, and the finances like really bring that out too. I've never understood going on vacation and then just being a tightwad as soon as you get there. Like exactly like Parker said, be a little frugal, if that's what your thing is, but like budget properly. Like some people just budget for the flight and the hotel or the gas in the hotel, and then they're like, I don't have any more money. What did you plan on doing?
Yeah.
Like, vacation's expensive. All right, that's a good one. Okay, my next pick for the worst person to travel with, I know this firsthand because this can be me sometimes, is the itinerary guy.
I was gonna say that
The guy that builds out the itinerary. Sometimes it's a girl. A lot of times it's the girl. Builds out the itinerary, and that's okay. But sometimes you got to go away from the itinerary here and there. Like you just, whenever we're doing the bachelor trip and I planned everything and everything's pretty much ready to go. I did do an itinerary, but it's like super loose and I ain't sending it to anyone because as soon as I send it to one of y'all are just going to make fun of me. So I'm like, this is just what I have in my phone. I'm like, okay, cool. Like just to remind me there's certain stuff going on, but there are some people that they get on they get on that itinerary and they do not want to go away from it at all. And that's not what, then you're just doing scheduled stuff. That's not vacation.
Yeah.
So
I try to like book trips or like plan trips in like half days. And so it's like in this morning I'm doing something, in the afternoon I'm doing something instead of just like structured time all the way through.
Yeah.
Then you feel off whenever the schedule's off.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's also, well, like we're going skiing. It's not that hard. Like skiing from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like eat somewhere in there, and you're grown men. Like you can go do that yourself. But then you've got places like you take the kids to. You got 4 kids and you go to Disney World. Like throw your itinerary out the window. Like what you only planned on waiting in the Cinderella Princess line for 45 minutes. It was 30 minutes.
Good
what are you
luck.
gonna do? So I think it definitely depends on the type of vacation too.
All right, I'm gonna go for my next one. The sleep till noon.
Oh,
That's the worst person to travel with. Someone who doesn't want to get out of bed, and then you've already wasted half your day, and you're ready to go at 8 a.m. or whatever time, and they're still asleep because we didn't go to bed till 11 o'clock that night before. And so, like, if I'm somewhere for 2 or 3 days, like, I want to try to get the most out of it because I don't know when I'm going to be back usually. And so I don't want to waste half a day waiting for someone to get out of bed and get ready. So yeah, that's mine.
you also just, if you can get stuff done in the first part of the day, even on vacation, you will avoid so many crowds. You'll have so much more time. Whenever we went to Fredericksburg, which if you're from Texas, you probably know Fredericksburg. It's about 2 hours outside of Austin, and they got a bunch of wineries and breweries and distilleries, but really cool downtown. There's a Enchanted Rock, which is a huge like hiking trail that goes up on this very large rock that's been there for years. It's very well known. But we went and we did as soon as the park opened, we went, and there were like 3 other couples there. This was last summer. We were avoiding the heat, but then also wanted to see the sunrise. And we were up at the top by the sunrise, and it was awesome. And we walked down, and the park was just getting flooded. And I was like, well, we're already done, and all these people are just having to fight the crowds while we get to go do whatever at, now it's 9 a.m. or whatever. So if you can just get on top of it in the morning, you can avoid so much crap.
Yeah.
What you got, Ben?
I am going to go with the guy or girl that takes too long in the shower. So whenever you're like, it could be a guy, like very well.
Yeah.
But like, especially say you're in like a place that's not necessarily like a 4-star resort or anything like that. Like you're just in like a regular hotel, and then they just use up all the hot water, and then you're just miserable, and then you have to be quick because they took so long. And like me personally, I'm always just like, if I'm not in my home shower, just get in, do your stuff, get out. Like there's other people waiting. You might have a house full of people that need that same very shower. There might only be one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just the worst.
Y'all want to know the fastest shower taker in the West?
Parker.
This guy right here.
Nice.
I guess he really doesn't clean.
Well, because he just cleans his feet most of the time and then gets out.
If he cleaned his feet, it would be like an average time. Yeah. All he's been doing, I lived with him for over a year. All he was doing, he never took a shower. All he was doing was washing his feet. Yeah, this dude showers quick.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
All right, last round. Park, what you got?
I'm going to go with most annoying people to travel with. Number 3 is the person who either keeps everybody up at night and is just like trying to rally too long. And it's just like, just go to bed, dude. Like either whether it be like just like talking about like meaningless small talk till 5 o'clock in the morning, which I know is one of Hayden's favorite pastimes because that is a cool bonding thing when you're just with the bros and you're
I'm also drinking.
But it's also like, are you having like, is it like meaningful with your bros, or it's just like also just read the room? And that also kind of cuts to the person who goes to bed too
Mhm.
early, and then because I remember traveling with someone before, and he came downstairs like super pissed at like 11 p.m. that like we woke him up or something because he had to be up early the next morning or wanted to be up early. And it's like just like be in general, like
Yeah.
just read the room, like either don't be the one who goes to bed way earlier than everybody, but don't be the one who keeps everybody up.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good one. My last pick is gonna be the Instagrammer, the person that has to take pictures and videos of everything. Different for Brian because Brian actually has like a legit camera. This person usually has like an iPhone X, and they have to take Instagram stories of everything.
And they always
Just blurry
zoom.
stories.
Yeah, it's like, and like I go on vacation sometimes, and I'll get back. I'm like, man, that was the best vacation ever. I'm like, I have 3 photos, and
Yep.
like one of them was a butt dial, like pocket picture, you know, like so. I think that person, which tends to be girls more often, but that person also just loves to brag. They love to
Mhm.
like post where they're at. They always put their location on their Instagram story, so everyone knows. It's like, we get it. You're at Cocoa Beach. Like, that's fine. I've been there before. Idiot. All right, go, Brun.
My last one, worst person to travel with, is gonna be the whiner, the one that whines about everything and complains, and it's just like no matter what we do, they're not happy with it, and it's just like, why did you even come on this trip?
Is this too similar to Parker's first pick?
I thought about that, but I'm going to allow it because the FOMO person and the whiner is very different.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, not very different, a little bit different. The FOMO just wants to be doing something else. The
Mhm.
whiner doesn't want to be doing anything.
Yeah.
He just-
They don't want to be
Yeah,
there.
they have no good suggestions.
Yeah.
Just everything.
I've
is-
definitely been that guy before, I will admit. Like the whiner, like if it's say like a beach kind of place, like I was in Puerto Rico a few years ago, and my buddy's girlfriend was just like trying to go on excursions, and I was just like, I just want to lay by the beach,
Vacation.
by the pool. And then one day we did go on an excursion, and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
And from
sure.
then on, I was like, I can never be that guy again. Like,
I think, like Parker said, it's just reading the room, and like
Yeah.
there's a good mix of everything.
9 times out of 10 when you travel to, it's gonna be a longer day. Like whenever you go on vacation,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a longer day,
Yeah.
regardless, because
And
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
be
be
out doing
tired.
stuff, trying to see as much as you can. Like it's gonna be a longer day, so
Mhm.
just suck it up.
All right, Ben, what you got? Last pick.
all right, grand finale. I think this is my first Power Rankings grand finale.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone
Because we're
last.
nice to you. We always just give you first.
Yeah, facts.
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 You guys are such millennials. They both just go, facts, bet, bet,
I bet. No
on
cap.
God.
No cap.
You're like
No
a year
cap.
older than us.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't understand the bet, facts, on God, and what was the other one I said?
No cap.
No cap. They all mean the same thing, but whatever. Go ahead.
All right. My pick is going to be the airplane clapper. I have
Oh.
expressed my frustrations about this before, but if I were friends with someone forever, or even if it was like a long-term girlfriend, we land and you start clapping,
Done.
out the door.
Leave her. Leave her. in
Like
that
I
city.
might get on the next plane back
Red
and
eye,
let
back
them
home.
enjoy the
I would
vacation.
I would also add the airplane.
stand up.
Whoever stands up and they're in the back of
Oh,
the plane.
yep.
It's like the people in first class haven't even gotten off the plane yet, and you're already standing
Mhm.
up.
I
That
can't
just
stand
makes
that.
everyone
I can't
uncomfortable.
stand
Don't be that person.
I
Yeah.
cannot stand. I actually haven't seen an airplane clap in a really long time.
I will say,
Pilots are just getting
I
better.
think that
This
I think
is-
that we've
this
ruined them
is-
on the internet. I think that we've talked so much crap about the airplane clapper that they now are terrified.
we may have.
we should start a cause.
I will
to end
say,
airplane clapping.
We'd sell like 4 shirts.
That's
I
not
will
about the
s-
money.
I will say it's kind of, I think it might be a custom. So, for example, like I've gone to Puerto Rico a lot. I think it may be kind of like a Hispanic.
That's racist.
No,
Yeah.
like I'm serious.
What are you doing
like-
in Puerto Rico?
Wait, so white people don't clap, or white people?
No,
do
no,
clap?
no, no. They
Oh,
typically, I don't think this is going. The
I mean,
right way.
do white people clap?
They could. I don't
They
know.
could.
They could. I feel like white people would be the clappers, and everybody else would just be annoyed with us. But maybe not. Stop
don't
while
know.
you're ahead, by the way.
I don't know.
Speaking of Brian, are you going to clap
I was
for us?
until Hayden said he forgot his recorder, and
Oh,
so we
then
can't
I
do
can't-
the
I can't sing High
Hey,
School Musical.
we
then.
can't do the the talent show.
No,
unless
we're
it's
learning-
all together in one episode.
We're learning the Titanic song, Celine Dion, "My Heart Will Go On," because
Yes.
I've gotten like half of the chorus down.
Nice.
So that's what y'all have to learn.
All right, let's go home.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. By the way, if you're just listening to this on just podcast, Parker has been holding up the phone the entire time. Like, our live audience just saw a podcast plus behind the scenes.
We might as well do this every time on TikTok. I should have labeled it podcast. So if you follow us on TikTok and you see us live and it says podcast, and you can come watch it before everybody else.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Tomorrow we're going to go live on Instagram for our game show. Tomorrow night around like 7:30 p.m. So, all right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see y'all next week. Eat your veggies.